VAIR, Visually Assisted International Rating System. This is VAIR TV, a podcast show hosted by Mikey Sleeves Silva and Mickle Moore. VAIR TV. Join us weekly for players, coaching insights, so much more. Get rated with VAIR. It's more than just your score.
All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of VAIR TV. Mickle Moore and Sleeves here, catching you up on everything VAIR rating system that is making its way through the domestic and international scene, and mainly because it's something that's an alternative that I think the pickleball landscape, as we've mentioned over and over again, desperately needs. So, how you been, Mickle?
Hey, Sleeves, I've been great. Great to be here with you. One thing I've been a little uncertain of is whether to continue, growing out the beard. But what people shouldn't be uncertain of is trying out VAIR, right? I mean, across the pickleverse, you mentioned it. Right here in our country, internationally, people are trying. You can try for free, as we're letting the people know. And, the big thing about a rating system, a new rating system, is change is always scary. We were fortunate enough, we had Dane Gingrich on last week. Great interview, folks. You need to go check that out. And he even mentioned that himself. And what's great about VAIR is ahead of the curve. We don't know when the next rating system might try to come out, and we know there are current rating systems that have to play a little catch up right now to what VAIR is doing. And Sleeves, we talk about it all the time, and I think I still love the way Dane put it, contextualizing how you're rating your game. And we're taking in all these other factors, and that's what's exciting.
Yeah, I think that's what's desperately been missing. And I'm glad a guy like Dane pointed it out because, you and I can yammer about it, but when you got a guy who is really well known, well respected, has the results, is a renowned coach and author saying these things about VAIR and why context is important, I think it gives it a lot more credibility because I think that's sort of what's been missing. We just throw out our scores up here into whatever system we're throwing them into and hoping and praying that the outcome is reflective of our play. And I think once you add visual, you add obviously all the variables, in age and gender, adaptive or whatever they may be, you're just going to get a more accurate rating. And it's fun to see other people come to that conclusion. He came to that conclusion a long time ago. He's been waiting for a rating system for a while. I watched his videos for the last few years, and he's talked about his frustration in public about what's going on and what is needed. I think he was pleasantly surprised and grateful that something like VAIR has come along that he can sort of go, okay, something is happening about what I've been talking about for several years. And he's not the only one, as you know. I mean,
Right.
we all have our grumblings about what's going on. And again, we're in the early stages of rating systems too. This is the beginning of this game at a level of mass participation. And so rating
Correct.
systems are going to get better. VAIR is pushing other systems will push VAIR as well.
That's right. And it's not just for the elite pro player. People who are playing this game, people who play pickleball, like the fact that there is a rating system. And somebody asked me the other day, like, well, why does there have to be a rating system? And I'm like, that's a great question. How about I answer with the fact that there is a rating system, and that's just the part of the sport and part of the game. And you don't have to be a pro to start playing and have a rating system, and it adds to the game because you don't want to step on the court and not have fun. And it doesn't mean you're not being competitive. Some people have a little bit of that competitive zeal, but it's not an all-out, hey, let's go for this thing when they get on the court. Maybe like you or I like to play, but they still want to have a measuring stick of how they play so that they can get better. And that's what VAIR's doing. And you can join for free. I can't say that enough. Try it out for yourself. It doesn't mean you have to abandon the rating that you currently have if you have one. And if you don't have one, it's a perfect time to get one. and start with VAIR and see for yourself. Don't you think, Sleeves?
You get obviously people who I think what a lot of people miss is the fact that it's a tool, and like you mentioned, it's a way for people to measure their progress. And you can go out and play, and you can go out and drill, but if you don't really have a measuring stick, you're sort of just kind of, as they was my old man would say, farting in the wind. And you don't know where it's where you are. You're like, well, I played Joe last week and I beat him, and then he beat me, and then I went to a group when I was traveling and I played this, and it's difficult. It's not something that's absolutely necessary, but it is another tool like your drilling, like your rec games, like your paddle, whatever it happens to be. That's the way I sort of look at it. Like, if we all want to sort of progress in this game, how do I measure it? What is the most accurate way to measure it? And quite honestly, it's visually. And that's what the V in VAIR stands for. So visual. It's important that um, people that are rating you can see your skill set and then rate you. And you can see, well, I'm not that great at mid-court resets on the backhand side. Maybe that's something I've got to work at if I want my 3.65 to go to a 4.0. Or,
Right.
maybe I'm not great at countering, speed ups, whatever it happens to be. This way, if you get rated by a person, they're going to give you that feedback and go, okay, here's the several areas where you're the weakest, and here's the areas where you're excelling. Maybe in your practice sessions, you can work on X, Y, and Z instead of wasting your time always working on the same stuff that you're already pretty good at.
Right. And how about even again taking it down to the rec level and even in club and league play, we're playing doubles a lot. And how much better is it then to improve that partnership, whether it's you and me or with a mixed partner, seeing those areas where you need to work, but then also when you're getting on the court, there, if you want to, after you try it out, you get used to the system, you upgrade a little bit, unlock some of these additional features like the predictability. So as you're getting on the court, it's like, you only have X percentage of a chance to win. And you're like, you know what? I might play a little harder and let's try. And so there's so many additional features within VAIR and the people behind it, the real smart people that develop the AI within it and all the different algorithms are only continuing to add more. And where do they get this from is the people using VAIR. And I think you can't say that enough either, and why it's going to continue to push itself and elevate this game. Because when I talk to people all the time when we play, and Dane mentioned it, well, what's your rating? What's your rating? I don't know if we should be playing together. Well, sure we can. And another great thing about VAIR is you can play and completely have it not affect your rating at all. There's a rec rating, there's a VAIR rating. So regardless of who you play, Sleeves, maybe you and I want to get out there and play against some really, really good players just to do it, and we get completely clobbered. Okay, it might help us out in the long run, but it won't destroy our score.
And you mentioned predictability. You can have fun with that. If you and I play a bunch of 5-0s, we can look at what the predictability says, and they can give us a handicap. Okay, we're up 4-zip. We're playing to 11. You can do a lot of fun things with this system based on all the different tools that it provides. And you can go out there and you can spice up your rec games a little bit. It's kind of fun. You're playing on your phone and
Absolutely.
you go, hey, what's your VAR? And you go onto the court and you go, okay, predictability, you should spot us. It looks like 2 points. And then you go have that game.
And that's a great point. I parallel pickleball and golf all the time. And what do you have in golf? Your handicap. I don't care who you are, you have a handicap, you do, whether it's an 18, a 20, a 15, and it might not be an official handicap, but you have something. Because when you're playing with your buddies, what do? Ooh, well, if Sleeves and I are playing, we get 2 strokes aside. And to your point, what you just said, this will allow you to play up, or if you're good, play down a little bit. So maybe we give you a few points, right? Okay, let's have some fun.
Absolutely. And hey, folks, we have a comment section, all these videos. If you have questions, please comment. We will answer them. We will get back to you as soon as we possibly can, which will be pretty quick.
Absolutely.
And go out there and dig into the website, see what you love, see what you don't quite understand, so there's things like that, and ask us, because That's really the only way that you're going to really kind of find out what this is all about and if it's really something for you, which we're pretty sure it is because a little bit we've messed around with it. And what's coming and what we see what's coming, I think it's going to be pretty exciting. It's going to take ratings not being this giant, thing that we have to carry around with us, but
Right.
something a little more fun, like handicapping, like predictability, like whatever, if, adding adaptive or whatever it happens to be. It's just making the group play, the rec play, the tournament play, the club play, all a little more interesting. And plus, if you keep upgrading, you get some killer stats. And how fun is that? Like, what's my percentage of getting to the kitchen? You know, things that you don't really think about too often. That will impact how you go out and drill. And
Absolutely. And to your point, the A stands for assisted. Your rating is a part of the game. It's not the game. And I think we've put it way at the forefront of the game. And most of us aren't out there competing on a tour for maybe even a little bit of money or anything like that, or worrying about losing an endorsement. We want to get better. We want to have fun because you can get better at this game quick. And using a system like VAIR as a part of your game, yes, you get a rating, which is cool. It's really going to make a difference, folks. We do want comments. Engage with us when you see us post it out there on the socials. Sleeves, what else we got?
I mean, I think you hit it right there. We do excel at this game fast. We get good, pretty quickly, but we also plateau. And I think this,
Great
again,
point.
going back and talking about this being a tool, this will make those plateaus, I believe, shorter because you will have the data that will tell you exactly what you need to work on. So stay tuned. We have episodes coming up. We'll have a monthly interview with somebody who's actively using VAIR, and they can tell us their experiences with it. We'll have updates as we continue to develop things in the VAIR community and with the software and the AI and you name it. So it's going to be endless updates because we're trying to perfect this thing and we're trying to get it right. And we're trying to, people making ratings fun is what you mentioned earlier instead of just carrying around this weight of, oh, my rating dropped. So let's do some fun things with VAIR. Get out there, get your group of 8 together, do a round robin, put in your scores, get your free account. See what you think and let us know.
Absolutely. Get out there, join for free. Stay tuned for more from Sleeves, myself. Thanks again for tuning in for this episode of VAIR TV. You got to pickle on, everybody.
That's right. We'll see you next time.
VAIR, visually assisted, international rating system. This is VAIR TV, a podcast show hosted by Mikey Sleeves Silwa and Mickle Moore. VAIR TV. Join us weekly for players, coaching insights, so much more. Get rated with VAIR. It's more than just your score.